Before the empire, before the legend, there was love. A young soldier with boundless ambition. A sophisticated widow with a mysterious charm. Their names would echo through history, not just for war and power, but for a love that defied convention, endured scandal, and whispered even in exile. This is not just the story of a conqueror. This is the story of a man who wrote letters, dreamed wildly, and wept alone. This is the story of Josephine, his empress, his heartbreak, his eternal flame. Welcome to World Famous Love Stories. Episode 3, Napoleon and Josephine, Love in the Shadow of Empire.
Long before he became the Emperor of France, Napoleon Bonaparte was just a soldier, passionate, brilliant, and ambitious. But behind his rise to power was a story few know well: his love for one woman, Josephine. Their romance would shape him, haunt him, and ultimately break him. Paris, 1795. The French Revolution had shaken the old world to its core. Amidst the ruins of aristocracy and the chaos of rebuilding, a young general caught the eye of Parisian high society. Napoleon Bonaparte, just 26, ambitious, intense. Joséphine de Beauharnais, 6 years his senior, was everything he wasn't. Sophisticated, charming, recently widowed, and already a mother of 2. She moved in elite circles and was known for her grace. They met through mutual acquaintances. And for Napoleon, it was love at first sight. He was captivated. She was amused. While he fell fast and deep, Josephine hesitated, uncertain of the young officer's prospects. In 1796, they married. Just 2 days later, Napoleon left to lead the Italian campaign. Their relationship lived through letters, and what letters they were. Napoleon's words were raw with longing. I wake filled with thoughts of you. Your portrait and the memory of last night's intoxicating evening have left no rest to my senses. He wrote almost daily, often twice a day, pouring his heart into pages. But Josephine was distant. At home in Paris, she resumed her flirtations and affairs, unsure of her love. Still, Napoleon's passion didn't fade. Even when he suspected her infidelity, he still loved her with unwavering intensity. By 1799, Napoleon had become a national hero. Upon his return to Paris, he confronted Josephine about her affairs. Their reunion was cold, tense. He considered divorce, but couldn't bring himself to leave her. He still adored her, and she, fearing loss of status, clung to him too. Their marriage was a paradox, full of mistrust and jealousy, yet deeply passionate. They traveled together, appeared in public, and played the perfect political couple. But behind closed doors, the fractures ran deep. Napoleon took mistresses. Josephine cried. She took lovers. Napoleon raged. And yet, through all of it, they returned to each other, again and again. In 1704, Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of the French. In a bold and unprecedented act, he took the crown from the Pope's hands and placed it on his own head. Then, in a gesture both grand and intimate, he crowned Josephine as Empress. It was the pinnacle of their union and the beginning of its decline. The empire demanded an heir. Josephine, unable to bear more children, became a liability in Napoleon's eyes. His advisors pressured him. France needed succession. He resisted the idea at first, torn between duty and love. But by 1809, the decision was made. He would divorce Joséphine. The separation was painful, ceremonial, and filled with sorrow. In a staged event before the court, Joséphine tearfully read a statement relinquishing her place beside him. Napoleon followed with his own, his voice reportedly trembling. Though no longer husband and wife, he ensured she remained empress in title. He granted her estates, wealth, and a place in his heart. They continued to write. He visited her occasionally. She followed his campaigns from afar. She never remarried. Neither did he, at least not for love. Joséphine retired to Malmaison, a beautiful chateau where she cultivated gardens and held court for foreign dignitaries. She died in 1814, before Napoleon's final downfall. In exile on the island of St. Helena, stripped of power and empire, Napoleon often reminisced about Joséphine. He kept her portrait by his bedside. Her name remained on his lips until the very end. When he died in 1821, his final words were, "France, the army, the head of the army, Joséphine." She had been his muse, his weakness, his heart. Their love was never perfect, but it was eternal. Napoleon and Joséphine were a study in contrasts. Fire and water, ambition and elegance, conquest and compassion. Through passion, betrayal, separation, and longing, they remain linked by something deeper than loyalty or power: love. In the end, it wasn't the empire he built or the wars he won that defined him most, but the woman he could never forget.
A love remembered beyond crowns and conquests, Napoleon and Joséphine.
If you felt their journey, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. And join us next time for the most iconic tale of star-crossed lovers ever told.